Excuse me puffing a bit. I've just come up a bit of a climb through the woods, but in the Forest of Dean. On the old fat bike again. Yes, fat bike. Like many people, like you, I expect when you're out on your bike today, you're thinking away about stuff when you're riding along. And I'm just coming up this nice, lovely climb in the fallen leaves and roots and things. And I always think about this myself. Why I like these things. People often say to me, I don't really get it. What the hell do I want a fat bike for? You know, I love my mountain bike. And I suppose the only way I could put it is, having ridden since, 87, I suppose I started mountain biking. The reason I started in the first place is I wanted to ride in places like this. Out in the wilds, away from traffic, to be able to be free to do whatever you want to do on a bike. I saw my first mountain bike in Williams bike shop in Cheltenham, before 87 that was. It was a Peugeot and it had these fat tyres on, and I thought, wow, this is what I've been looking for years. And I'm already in my, I think I was in my late 30s, no, early 30s anyway. So yeah, that really ticked the box for me. So I've been a mountain biker ever since. I've tried all kinds of things. I've had my own brand years ago, fell foul of a partnership, whatever, that's a long story. But anyway, got a bike shop now, feel really passionate about mountain biking. But then for a couple of years, a brand tried to get me to try a fat bike. It was there's a trade show called Core Bike, and every year this brand Surly would try and get me to try and sell fat bikes. And there was a Surly Pugsley on the display, and they said, oh, look at this. And I thought, oh, that looks fun, but it must be ridiculous to ride. It must be like a bouncy castle on wheels. You know, it's a bit of fun, but I'm never going to sell any of those. So anyway, 2 years went by, kept on, and eventually they sent me a Salsa Muckluck, second-hand, ex-demo, well-used, steel forks, nothing special, quite a worn drivetrain, no suspension or anything. I got it. I rode it home from my shop, which is about 3 miles, on the road. I got to my front door and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I kept saying it, and I rode it every day then on the road. Then I'd have a bit of off-road, and every time I get home I say to my wife, I don't know what it is about this bike, but this ticks the box. This is perfect. It's a hardtail, because I struggled to, having gone through the hardtail stage, got to full surfs, trying to go back to a hardtail was quite a pain in the back and everything else. You know, it shakes you around. So I got a bit soft, I guess, being a full surf rider. So when this came along, with the comfort of the tyres, like everybody, you assume that is going to be hell on the road. It wasn't. If you rode a downhill bike with soft compound tyres, that is a lot harder to ride than a fat bike. It's very important to pick the right tyres, obviously, but the tyres on that bike there are probably the most popular ones, and you're basically up on top of the knobbles, so you haven't got as big a contact patch as you think. It's just anyway. So I got it completely hooked, and I haven't ridden anything bar a fat bike since, bar the odd little spin on what I call a skinny bike now. So that did it for me, and then from that day on, what was this, 5 years ago maybe, all I wanted to do is see what a fat bike will do. And obviously a lot of people who know me will go, oh God, Graham's going on about fat bikes again. But it's a constant relearning process. All the things that used to catch you out on a 26-inch wheel bike or a full surf, you know, you go into a drop or a hole and you think, I've got over the bars, because that's what you would normally do. With this, you don't. It just rolls through. It rolls over stuff that you'd be chucked off. I've just come up a climb now, which is just a mass of wet roots, crisscrossing all across the track. And it just, you know, I'm running soft tyres, I'm running 4 PSI in those tyres, and it just folds over roots and slippery rocks, just wraps itself around and you just muddle along, smile on your face. Yeah, that's what gets, you know, that's what does it for me. And obviously you've got the ability to just go anywhere. You can ride sand, you can ride snow, you can ride mud, rocks, roots, anything. Completely no trail. It'll push down, you know, loose leaves and rocks and grass and things. Anyway, so yeah, I was just coming up here and on this ride, and I thought I'm just going to stop and record what I'm thinking, as I am now. So I just thought I'd get it on film, and I just try and get it across. I mean, when I talk in my shop, people ask me about it, and I sort of come out with what I've just said, and how it was for me. And people do get it, and when they try a bike, when they try a fat bike, they sort of understand what I'm talking about, and quite a few buy one. I'm now lucky enough because I'm a mountain biker. I'm not a Canadian snowy fat biker. I'm not that type of person, because that's where they've come from. I'm a mountain biker, and I want to ride my bike anywhere. So I designed my own frame. It obviously is a fat bike. There's not an awful lot you can change about a mountain bike frame other than the geometry. So it's designed to be a trail bike. It's a bit slacker. It's got 170 rear end. It's not super wide, but it's wide enough to cope with anything in the UK. It's not heavy, it's not light, it's not a cross-country race bike, but it can be if you really want it to be, but that's not what it's aimed at. This bike is aimed to put a smile on your face all year round. So basically that's basically it. So that's my waffling over with. I'm now going to take my lovely onesie and head off on my fat bike and see how many miles I can get in today. Basically, I'm clocking up my last few miles for the mental health awareness thing, the lap of my mind, which is on at the moment. The guys, there's 10 guys going around the UK doing 4,500 miles. They really have suffered in the weather we've had over the last week or so. They finish on the 20th on Clifton Suspension Bridge, and I'll hopefully be there to see them finish. But so basically, I'm just doing my little bit for my miles, for lap of my mind. I've got 120 miles to do in 20 days, and I'll finish that today. But basically that's it. And I'll catch you soon. Merry Christmas.